The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live. Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of the Carolina Cabinet.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
So that's probably one of the finest things I think that in my career that I've done, because it allowed people to be able to envision their dream. Mm-hmm. They wanted to be a lawyer, and some people, and it was interesting. Some people went through the program and said, this is what I thought I wanted to be, but I don't. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not going to waste all that money in 3 years to find out this is not what I want. Right. And they went on and did some other things, and they came back to say, thank you, because I've been successful in this other career and not with this. That's not really what I wanted. So, that it was just exciting to go back.
What is this called?
It's called the Performance-Based Admissions Program. They call it PBAP. Okay. It started at Central. Campbell actually followed up a few years later and did one just the same way. They had some of the same issues. Okay,
performance-based. So I don't want to get you down this rabbit hole, but, so how does that affect like the Title IX stuff or affirmative action, that kind of stuff? Does it work with that?
No,
because that's kind of what.
What this is this: you weren't getting into law school because you didn't have it. Okay. You got to prove to me that you want to be in law school. Okay. That's the performance base. You've got to prove it. You've got to compete with everybody in this room to be able to do that. And so it is.
So in other words, if you went to college and you like partied your first year and you're like, holy smokes, I think I need to do a little bit better. Wait a minute. You might not have that same opportunity had you not had the performance based. So you have the aptitude. Mm-hmm. You just didn't take it seriously in the beginning because we're all young and we make mistakes.
Right. Well, you get to college, your parents not there. Nobody's making you go to class. Nobody's doing anything. And see, understand this. The life has changed. Yeah. I went to, this was back in 1980s, in the late 70s when I went to college. I went to NC State. At 18, you could drink at 18. I just saw kids all over just having having parties and so it happens. Right. Life happens. Everybody doesn't get it at the exact same time. But the thing about it is, did you improve? Once you figured out that, I got a 2.5 or a 2.0, did you continually grow up the next 3 years to say, but once you get it down there, it's hard to get that GPA up. Right. But if you can show me that you've been increasing every year, then I understand that.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a worthwhile thing. I mean, we're our own worst enemies at 18 years old, I think, sometimes. I was just wondering how much partying you did. I'm still freshman. See, because I kind of got lost in there. I'm like, wait a minute. Is he saying that he had this program because he was the one? I mean,
no, my mother scared me to death so bad that I went up there. Let me tell you, so my mother, she's passed away, but what she did was when I was in high school, had me go work for M&M Smith Moving and Storage Company. Okay. All right. She said, go down there and work with them. And I think she talked to those guys. And, there were some old guys, and they were barely making minimum wage at that point. Mm-hmm. And it was hot. We were out at Fort Bragg doing all this. And I went home one day and said, look, I'm going to college because I can't do this for the rest of my life. It's hard work here. And so I think it made me, when I got there, understand that I needed to be in that classroom.
You were on a mission. I was on a mission. What you didn't want to do.
Right.
That's important.
So I learned that because when my son got ready to go, I had him work with McKenzie Plumbing, and he was digging ditches and everything. And he came home and said the exact same thing. I said,
there's a lot of merit to the, the back breaking, digging the ditches, because you finish the day, you feel accomplished. You saw the result of your work. That's right. But it's nice to go to, if you have the acumen. Not everybody needs to go.
Let me tell you, I do learn things. Okay. So my oldest son finished up college. He went to college. Mm-hmm. About midway through, he says, I don't think this is what I want to do. I say, okay, just finish up, get the diploma, let me put it on the wall. Mm-hmm. After that, he put a backpack on his back and went and saw 32 countries. He came back home and told me, Dad, you said that I needed to go to college. Mm-hmm. And that was the only alternative that I had. And you made me do that. He said, but overseas, that's not what everybody does. They do apprenticeships. They don't necessarily finish. They might finish high school, but they're getting welding degrees. They're doing all of this. They're working. And so it made me realize college is not for everybody.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so that's why Fayetteville Tech is so important with some of the programs that they do, is to understand everybody doesn't have to go to college. And we have to listen to our kids sometimes, because we spend a whole lot of money sending our kids and they come back home. And,
okay.
and now they're
Mom,
in
if
debt.
you're watching, you remember what Commissioner Adams said. You got to listen to the kids sometime.
Well, yeah. And so, and my son made it clear. He said, look, let me tell you what's going on in the rest of the world, because you just see this little bit right here.
So what did he figure out to be when he grows up?
Well, then he became an attorney. Yeah.
Oh man. Just went back. Okay.
So good thing he got that degree in the first place.
Yeah, well, he could have gone on and got that degree, but he did see a whole bunch of different.
Does he work with you, or is it?
No, he's down in Florida.
Okay.
But his view, I mean, all of those kids' views are different than ours. Of us, you talk to them and you'll find out they're different in a good way.
Yeah. Well, every generation says the one coming after it is doomed.
I did the speech like that.
We're not, but it's going to be okay. There are a lot of gems in the generations coming after. I just don't see them yet.
Well, I will tell you that I don't know that I want to be a kid right now anyway, because there's so much stuff coming at them all the time with the social media. But I will tell you, they can multitask so much better than we can. I'm going to do my task and then I'm going to go to the next task. They can multitask. I tell them, but don't multitask so much that you don't figure out and get to the end. But, it's
see, that's the problem that I see. These people that want to multitask, they've got 45 things and they don't complete anything. I'm the kind of person I have 10 things on I want to check this one off.
That's right.
I don't want to worry about it until the last minute. And
you sound like my wife who says, okay, I got to check that
I got to check that. I
don't want to make sure
I know it's not due
today.
for 3 weeks, and I understand that, but I'd like to go ahead and finish it 3 weeks early, be done with it, and not have it on my mind, because
I'd just rather just have anxiety about it, keep pushing it off. That works for me.
Well, I would tell you this, Laura. I'll tell everybody. That's why women can't sleep at night.
That's right.
Men, we can compartmentalize. We lay down, we go to sleep. You women got to keep this going on in there. Did I do that? Did I finish that? Hey, y'all got to learn to compartmentalize. We got all.
I can fall asleep, but then I wake up like, oh my God, I forgot to do this.
Yep. Yeah, we sleep right through the night.
Yeah,
I sleep right through the night.
So, Commissioner Adams, you've been on commission for quite a while now. You've been there for a while.
12 years or so.
You're kind of a standard on the commission, I guess. But you've been there through the 10 years of many other boards. I mean, you've had the board has changed. You've been the chairman before,
right?
Were you vice chair, or did you go straight to the
I've
top?
been vice chair, vice chair,
flip
nothing, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I've done it all.
So you basically had several jobs. And what other what else are you the commissioner of? Like Tyson is the fire guy, and
I do. I'm with Action Pathways, which does Second Harvest Food Bank.
Okay.
I'm on the commission, the boards and commission that we do. And so we all have a few of different things.
There's other assignments besides just your district one. So you handle action, or your liaison basically with Action Pathways, and what was the other one?
The boards and commissions. So
that actually select the boards and commissions.
Right. That select the people to go on the
how's that process working? Because I know when this current board got elected back in 24, there was some talk about, if I'm a citizen and I want to work on a board, how do I get there? Because I don't think the process was very, I don't want to say transparent, but it wasn't really streamlined, I guess would be how I'd put it.
You know what happens sometimes when you join the board, things just keep rolling and you never go back to say, why does it work that way? And so, which is, I think, good to have new folk on the board to say, why do we do it that way? And so we did streamline the boards and commissions, because a lot of times when I got there, it's, do you want to be on the board? I know you, what's your interest? And you would get nominated. Now you can send in your application. The boards and commission will look at that application and then put it forth. But it also capped that any commissioner could still nominate somebody from the floor. So you still have that option, but it kind of mirrored what the city was doing.
Right. Yeah. Well, so Laura and I have both served on city commissions. Right. Have you ever done a county board?
I am on a county commission. Okay. No, wait. I was on the county commission, the one that was discriminatory toward me. The human relations.
Oh, the human relations. Yeah, that wasn't a fun time. Yeah, don't wear a Trump hat to the human relations. I mean, they don't like that.
We're the human relations board, and don't you wear that Trump stuff.
So you're not I currently serve on the Civic Center Commission.
Right, which, that's right. You are.
That's an enjoyable board.
I want to get on the ABC board.
Yeah, you want to drink, don't you?
I don't drink.
I know you don't drink. So why you want on it?
Just to see exactly what's happening there, and just because I don't drink, to see the other side of it. I think
to see how a monopoly loses money.
Oh, but this one doesn't lose money.
Ours doesn't?
No.
Well, yeah.
It does not.
Look at Fayetteville. If they open a new business, if there ain't booze, you ain't staying.
Let me tell you, the ABC board here in town does not lose money.
Okay.
Good.
We'll see when I get Laura on the board, then she'll be able to tell me.
I just want to see more of it, like something that's okay. So I'm on the human relations board. We didn't really do anything. We met once a month. You know, and then I was discriminated on and against and treated poorly because I am a Republican, and they can deny it or whatever. I actually have the recordings, but that's beside the point. So, and I'm also on the Senior Citizens Advisory Board through the city. Mm-hmm. We meet once a month. I don't see anything. Not that they're not productive, because I made name tags. Woohoo! And we're going out there trying to get senior citizens involved and stuff like that. But I want to see something that's actually doing something and how things run. And I thought the ABC board would be that, or the one that you're on at the Crown
Civic
Center,
the
Civic Center, or something that's actually doing something with the city.
Well, you know what?
So, Glenn, you're going to nominate me, right?
There you go. Okay. You know, I would tell you. No, let me tell you.
You heard it here.
People laugh first. Yeah. People laugh, but on the ABC board, and even at the Fayetteville Tech board, I probably nominated as many Republicans as I did Democrats.
Right.
They can tell you.
See, it's not not from the electeds and the nominations.
I don't really care about, that when you're getting appointed the boards and commissions. What bothers me sometime in this community is we talk about how diverse this community is, but when you go to these boards and these commissions, you see black and white. Mm-hmm. You don't see the Hispanics. You don't see the Vietnamese. You don't see the Koreans. And that's where we fall down in this community.
Being
we
a
tell
Hispanic
everybody,
female,
right. But how many on there? I mean, think about it. I mean, on all these boards and commissions, all right?
Right.
And so, but I also tell people, Lord, that when you look at these boards and commissions, go to a meeting and see what they do before people think they do certain things. They're advisory boards, and they are supposed to come back and tell the boards, the city council, or the county commissioner, hey, this is an issue. This is a problem. Mm-hmm. This is what we think is a way to fix this, or let's have some dialogue.
Right.
But most of these boards and commissions don't.
Well,
they really don't.
So what I will say about that is that my concern with other boards I've been on, not Civic Center, we have a good relationship with. I think Mr. Patel comes to most of those meetings. Mm-hmm. But previous boards, I'm concerned with the city employee in that case not conveying what we, the board members, are doing or want done. And then I actually got in trouble because I said, look, you got 3 days to give me an answer. I'm just going to go to council. And I did.
Well,
and also they're not communicating with what's going on. We're not allowed to tell you for privacy reasons. Well, then what the heck am I doing sitting on this board? If you're not allowed to tell me anything, then I'm just sitting here for a meeting. And
and I don't even know if they have a liaison to that board. But most of the counties, we have a liaison.
Yeah,
Patel's with you.
Yeah.
Tyson's out with the fire chiefs. I'm over with Action Pathways, and we go to the meetings. So we're sitting in the meetings and hearing the concerns and bring those back. Yeah. That's the way this thing should work.
So not to beat up human relations, but the last liaison they had was Councilwoman Tisha Waddell.
Okay.
That's how long it's been since they filled that slot. Wow. I mean, but now I will say that towards the last year, ACM Phelps, Jody Phelps
over there
was coming to the meeting. So we at least had somebody from city management. But anyway, I just wanted to bring up that y'all have worked on, and that because you said boards and commissions, I'm like, so it's more streamlined. We can apply online. But please go to a board meeting first
or
to
at least
see
read
what's
up on
what.
It. See exactly, but there's some boards like the cemetery board and the nursing home boards, and we can't get anybody. I'm like, look, please, somebody, you go. But the nursing home board is very important because you go to these nursing homes to make sure that they're doing right by the patients.
Is that more a health department thing, or what does the nursing home board do?
That's what they do. They go around, the health department is going to go in there and make sure they do all the things. Sure. But, I'll tell you who was on that board who used to call me all the time, and that's Representative Wheatley.
Okay.
She went to those nursing homes, and she said, Glenn, that nursing home is not good. You need to talk to the health department. Because, the health department can't be there every day. And so you got the cemetery, you got the health department, the nursing home board. We got a number of boards that sometimes are difficult to fill.
I can tell you one thing that, whatever. Janine Ackles was very involved with the seniors. So maybe you could approach her. She did a great job.
That is her wheelhouse for sure.
100%. So maybe she might be interested in something like that.
And, it's every city council person and every county commissioner person has what their passion is. Everybody's passion is not the same. That's why it's good. We got 7 people. They got 10, whatever they got. Right. But they should drive that passion. And because you have all of us different, then you can do that. I don't have to worry about going out to the fire. I go out there sometime, but I don't have to worry about going out to the Fire Chiefs Association because I know Henry's going to bring it back. Sure. I don't have to go over here to this one because I know that they're going to bring it back. So that's the way this thing should work.
It certainly helps when you all are doing. So, we talk about elected officials we're not asking you to be our leader. We're asking you to be a good elected official. And a good elected official requires a lot of work. People don't realize it ain't the title.
Right. Well, I tell people, because people always say, you're everywhere. You're all over the town. I'm like, look, I'm not really that smart. I know what I know. I'm an attorney by day. But no, seriously, I go out into the community because you're going to bring something to me that I hadn't thought about.
Right.
You're going to bring something to me that I hadn't thought about. And then we're going to have that conversation. I'm going to do my research and I'm going to bring it back to the board. If you're not out here in the community, then, talking to the people, because then you don't know what the issues are.
Right. Well, and indicative of that, I think, is when there's a lot of demand on, I think, city council race last year, well, are you going to have town, what do you call it? Town halls, or like in your district? It's like, look, that, if you don't see your councilman or commissioner, you're wondering, but that is just part of the job. And I always say that you are never not campaigning. It's a because if you're doing your job, you're in the neighborhood,
out in the community. You're out in the community.
You're doing your
and
thing.
You're talking to everybody. I tell everybody. I'll talk to any and everybody. We may not always agree. We're not going to be argumentative, but
I'll vouch for that.
Sometimes, I'll talk to you, and I can be persuaded to change my mind because, like I said, it's people bring what they bring to the table, whether it be mental health or when you're talking to some individuals on mental health and I talk to some of the parents and stuff, and you never think about it. We always think about. I'll do this one. Those kids that are people who are addicted to drugs, and we want to deal with the addiction, right? Well, every time that addicted person leaves the house, that parent is at home. If the phone rings, the stress, they're worrying about whether they're going to come back in. I didn't think about that. But while I'm out there talking to them, I talk to some of these parents. And so we put forth a program to help the caregiver to say, hey, there's some other people out here you can meet and talk to and be able to do this. We did something with Mid Carolina Pines and the Council on Older Adults to help with the dementia and Alzheimer's. But, if you don't have anybody in your family yet that has that, you don't think about that.
Right. Well, let's pivot to, because again, you're the standard on commission. I've seen you there, for 12 years. And I do say, I will back you up on you talk to everybody. I mean, even when I was running, you were encouraging and, because you knew the job. And I think you were probably
second commissioner. And the first commissioner I knew was Michael Boos, and then he was the second commissioner I ever met.
Well, I think he was encouraging because he's like, yeah, you can get what you want. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, you don't know what you go after, kid.
Yeah, I'll do that. Be careful what you ask for, right?
What you wish for. So, all right. So let's pivot. Because you've been there a while, you pretty much were there generally, I'd say 90% of the time frame that we had the downtown event center planned.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you. So look, it started off about 10 years ago. Is that fair?
Yeah. Probably longer than that. Commissioner Jimmy Keefe, this was his dream. This was his baby to be able to do it. Everybody put it to me, but it was actually Jimmy that came up with this whole thing with that.
But so we're talking about 10, 11 years, something like that. At least and because we all know government projects get better with age, especially when you don't build them.
They get more expensive with age.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, so when it first started, we were what, 40 million back then?
I think we were at 90.
Okay.
When we first started. Yeah. Okay. When we first started, it was 90.
All right.
But then as we talking to the consultants, what 90 was going to build was not going to be enough for seats and everything else that it needed. And so then it went up to 130.
Right. And then COVID. And then
but it still stayed at 130.
Okay. I thought it ended up at like 140.
Well, it might have been 140. But what happened is we set a I thought it was 130, but anyway.
It's only another 10 million.
But, what's 5 or 10 million? But we basically told the architect and the construction people, this is it. You don't go over that. Don't come back to us and ask for any more money.
Right.
This is it.
Okay. Well, I mean, so look, you were a proponent of the thing.
I was.
I think, and I believe when this current board, when we decided to cancel the project, I think you were one of the 2 dissenting votes.
I was.
I think I was in the room there. Yeah. I think I was sitting next to Mr.
I
Keefe.
think you were.
Yeah. So that was a disappointing day, especially me being on the Civic Center Commission. You know, I was looking forward. But to clarify, we were moving the theater from the Crown Complex. See, people mistook that it was going to be the Coliseum.
Yeah. Well, we were moving 2 things, actually. What we were building downtown was not just a theater. We were basically doing a theater, but it was also going to be an event center. So we're sitting here in Cumberland County. I'll ask you all both, when's the last time you seen anybody from the state, from the even from the Registry of Deeds or the clerks have a conference here in Cumberland County?
Never, because we don't have a conference hotel.
That's right. And we don't have even a bit space for people to be able to do that. So this was going to be a theater, to be able to do the theater, but it was also going to be able to host those kind of events. You could have banquets there so that you didn't have to go out to Fort Bragg to the Iron Mike, and you could do and sometimes out of Embassy Suites, it's too big. So you'd be able to do some of these smaller things downtown.
It was the Goldilocks,
and be
just
able
right.
to do that.
Yeah.
It was
Why in that location, though?
Well, here's what happened.
Because there was other county.
I'm not wanting to place blame today, but go ahead.
Let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
Because there is other county. To me, there's other county land downtown in that area where we could have maybe spread the city out a little bit more instead of congesting it all there without any parking, without anything. And that was and why build that before you build the parking garage? Why not build the parking garage first?
Well,
and then the event center. Okay, so 2 questions.
So here's the thing.
Oh, well, we're going to get some learning now because I know the answers to some of that.
Well, I would tell you this. When we first started, we did all around Cumberland County. We held listening sessions all around, and then we had one that was online. And it came out that most people wanted to put it downtown. And the question is whether you could book in, because what was going to happen is that you're going to have the Crown Event Center. Next door was going to be a Black History Museum. Then you had the Market House. Then you go on up further, you have the Airborne Museum. And then you go on up further and you get the Civil War Museum. And it was going to be a
district
right in there, district. And so the question then became, what do you do? Where do you put it? And so there was some property behind the old courthouse right in there. It's a big parking lot back there. There were some people who didn't want to put it further down Person Street. It just you couldn't
see that to me would have been ideal. You got to stretch the city and you make it grow in a more positive light. That would have been my choice.
But I think that one of the things was if you put it there, you could stretch it down Gillespie Street. Right. The city has a beautiful piece of lot at the corner of Gillespie and Blunt Street. I would tell you.
So why not build it there?
Well, it wasn't big enough, but I think what I wanted to put there was an administrative building for county government and the city. You build it's big enough. City Hall needs to move. the county needs to get out of this building. I'm gonna get back to yours, but needs to get out of this building because of the judiciary. If we built one that had the city and the county, city could be on one side, county could be, everybody could come to that. It will then push you all the way down Gillespie Street and transform Gillespie Street and enlarge your city. So that was kind of what that was. And so actually the parking deck would have came online before the Crown Coliseum. The way the parking deck was, they bring it in. It's not like they build it straight up. So it's going to be built behind the courthouse,
right?
Kind of where those steps are that leads up to where the sheriff's department.
Yep.
It was going to be built right there, boom, and that was going to take care of that because you're going to need that for the Crown Event Center.
Right. I just, like I said, I would have built that before you tore up the parking lot because then nobody had anywhere to go. But that's
what happened is we did do enough. It actually. There's just as many parking spaces across the street, and we have another lot less than a block away. Okay, so I'll get into this parking situation because I hear it every day when I go into this. This is the only one of the few municipalities that provides parking for all of these folk. If you go to Wake County and because you're talking about the parking deck, Wake County, Durham, and all that. They have parking decks.
You got to pay.
But you have to pay. Well, you have to. Their employees can rent a parking space, $27 a month or whatever. If you go downtown and stand on the front steps of the courthouse, less than a block away is a parking deck. There is a parking deck. Yeah. If you stand there, you can see it. And you know how much it costs to park in that parking deck all day long? $5 is a whole day in the parking deck.
Okay. Well,
and so people are risking $20 tickets so they don't walk one block to the courthouse.
Well, that was some concern. It's like, look, we're Americans. We don't want to walk. We're lazy. So, people, I think they look at the parking situation like, well, I want to park in front of the venue and walk in. That doesn't happen. But you all did a study that justified, yes, there's enough parking. It just isn't where you think you're going to have to walk.
Well, if you've been to the DPAC, you've been to DC.
Oh yeah,
you're not parking next door to any event center.
No, you take the train in.
Yeah, you take the train or you Uber.
I feel like it's almost like that's another growing pain we have with Cumberland County and Fayetteville. It's like we need to remember we're actually not a little town or county anymore. That we're kind of grown up.
It's kind of interesting you say that, Peter, because what happened is we're here at that. Oh, we need some of the stuff that Raleigh and Durham has. Then when you get ready to do some stuff,
we're not Raleigh and Durham,
and you got to pay for it. They say, "Hey, we're not Raleigh and Durham."
Yeah.
I'm like, what is it that you want? And the thing about this event center is that it wasn't going to take up your tax dollars because it was coming out of the food and beverage to be able to pay for that and all of that. So,
I preface this conversation with, we all know that government projects do not get better with age. Right. So I figure going forward, now that I'm kind of in tune with the political actions here, if y'all decide to do something else, just do it in 18 months or kill it.
Yeah.
Just
you know what I would love to see is a new courthouse or a new the old courthouse. The one is really kind of like not state of the art.
Not which one you calling the old one?
The old courthouse.
Not the old one. The new old one.
The new old one. Okay.
They say
the Braswell.
They say that there's a lot of mold smell. A lot of. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but
I'm in there every day.
I was just having a conversation with somebody last night, and they were saying it would be great to have a state of the art judiciary building right down there.
Well, here's what I think.
Okay, tell me what you think.
They should have that building. It's not a mold in there. I've been in there for 40 years. I mean, 30 years now. But we need to move out of the building, and the judiciary needs to have the whole building.
Right.
They're on top of each other.
Right.
And in order for them to do what they need to do, they need the building. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why I say if the city and the county could get together, build a municipal building together, where the city hall is, that's prime real estate, man. Right across from Segra Stadium, you know what you could probably get for that. And so, and they're over, if you walked in there, you've been in there, they're on top of each other too.
Yeah.
And so you
see,
could build one.
That's what I find the problem with Fayetteville is they build for right now.
Right. Not 10 years from now.
Yep.
And it's such a waste of money because by the time you actually get done and move in, you're like, holy smokes, we need to look at another one because we're already
too small.
You mean like when we build a school and immediately within a year we have huts?
Yes,
because we had too much growth.
We need to be like, we have 3 empty. We can lease that out until and get some of our money back until we need it, and then we start.
Now I would tell you this: when they built the old new courthouse, the one you're talking about, those guys back then were thinking 10 years down the road. They left the 4th floor empty. They've now filled the 4th floor.
Right.
But they also had it that you could build on top of some more things on top of that building.
Oh, nice.
So they were thinking way ahead. Now the judiciary said, y'all can't be up there building because we got to have court and y'all making too much noise. And then there's some people who say we don't want to build up there. But they actually, I have to give those old commissioners and Judge Braswell, they thought about that. They had it. They left that 4th floor empty, saying we know it's going to come back. We're now using it. Enough space to build.
That was probably one of the largest projects to that date. I'm sure back then. So we have a few more minutes. I want to bring up. So there's a couple of things. The water. What are y'all doing with the PFAS water and countywide water?
So we're going so to the schools and some of the area up near the schools, PWC is going to run pipelines.
Grace Creek, we're talking about.
Alderman and right up there by Grace Creek.
Okay.
So they're going to run pipe through there. We're looking at some wells to see if we can do deep water wells to be able to provide that water. Because even if you wait on PWC, you're still 10, 15 years down the road. They haven't even done all of West Fayetteville in terms of stuff they have to do. One of the problems we're going to have, though, even with the lawsuit that we have, is as they roll back these PFAS contaminations, is whether you actually have a lawsuit to be able to do that. And that's going to be a problem with that. But,
well, hopefully we got a good lawyer. You know anybody?
Look at Royals on there. Said small mindset.
Hey, Royal. Hey, Royal. So is there a plan for countywide water, or is it at the consultant stage right now?
We're actually talking about it.
Okay.
So here's what happens. So what people don't realize is that Cumberland County gets water from Dunn.
Right.
They get some water from Robertson County. They get water from Bladen County. Spring Lake side gets some from the Dunn area too. And so my thing is, if there's an emergency, who they're going to take care of first? Harnett County going to take care of Harnett County, Robertson County, and Bladen County. So we are in conversations with all of them to talk about countywide water.
Okay.
But let me tell you this. It's not just countywide water, Peter. These septic tanks that we have, I talked about it when I first got on there. They're going to be issues. We're Sandy. We have all of these hurricanes, tornadoes. These septic tanks are not going to continue to be able to be viable. We need to have water and
it's going to have to be both eventually.
Water and sewer. And part of this is it predates you and I and everybody else. When the USDA years ago was giving out money to be able to do countywide water and sewer, our folk turned it down.
They didn't want it.
And so now we're paying for it. And I think that goes to your point, Laura. Think 10 years, 20 years down the road. Don't think about tomorrow. We may not even be here. I may not be here when it happens. But if we put it in line to be able to do that, it'll happen.
Well, it's not going to get cheaper the longer we kick it down the road. And we were a little short-sighted back then, but we didn't realize the PFAS issue. And if I'm not mistaken, that was that wasn't ancient history. That was in the 80s or 90s, I think.
Well, I think it was a little further.
The barometer, I think, is I think Mr. Keefe's dad was on city council at the time. So that has to be in the 80s.
I don't think he was on city council.
Or
but
anyway,
Keefe was on city council.
He was somewhere.
Jimmy was on city council. But what happens is, but you knew these septic tanks can't make it.
Right.
You go down Cedar Creek, as sandy as it is, those things not even perking. I mean, if it doesn't perk, you're not going to be able to do it. So we got all this land that's sitting out here that doesn't perk, so you can't do anything with it. So we end up with a lot of land out there that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
We're not going to be able to grow unless we get the count, because the
countywide water
capacity of PWC is limited.
Well, and I will tell you this: we still have a fight because you saw. I know y'all. I don't know if y'all came to the session over at Fayetteville Tech. All of these cities upstream, Apex, Fuquay, Raleigh, all of them want to take water out of the Cape Fear River and don't want to put it back.
Right.
And even above that, up at Greensboro, there's a company up there that just dumps into the river all the time. PWC, Mick Nolan, I got to say, shout out to Mick Nolan. He's not there anymore. He retired. But he fought that water fight. You know, we sued Raleigh to be able to stop them from this inner water basin. And this goes all the way back to Laura Talley. Laura Talley was in the Senate, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and she said this was going to be a problem. She could see it coming.
Well, and it's Billy Richardson spoke that night at Fayetteville Tech, and he said, I was up there 30 years ago. They knew this was a problem. We don't want to give our water unless they want to return it.
Return it to the basin.
They can have all they want as long as they bring it back. So we're Mr. Adams.
Out of time.
Can I finish one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is because I think I talked about it the other day because you brought it up, Peter. You brought it up.
I brought it up.
You brought it up. You're talking about schools and then having to put the trailers out back.
Yeah.
So I pushed for a bond issue the other day. We haven't had a bond issue for school bonds in this community in about 25 years.
Yeah.
Rick Glazier and Mike Lowry and all of them.
Wasn't
George
Diane
Reese
on the board then? That's a long time ago.
It was before Diane, but all of them. That's when the community came together. That's why we got Jack Britt. That's why we got Grace Creek. We got some other things. We don't need to piecemeal these schools. We don't have enough money to pull out of a general fund to do the things that needs to be done because we haven't done it in 25 years. So we need to talk about putting forth a bond issue to make sure that our kids, our teachers have the proper facilities to move forward. These buildings, some of them outdate us and in terms of age.
But those 100-year-old buildings are the ones that are just now getting retired. The 60s and 70s built ones are the ones that got to go too.
But, you didn't think about it. We talked about social media. We're in here right now doing this. Some of those buildings, those walls are so thick, you can't get through on the internet and
they
stuff
shouldn't.
Of that nature.
They should. I don't think the kids should be having internet anymore unless it's very controlled because our kids can't read, they can't write, they don't know how to do cursive, they don't know how to do any of that stuff because they're so busy looking at a screen.
But no, I'm talking about the drones though. So we got a whole drone at E. Smith. You got a whole section of drones that you can't really fully utilize because of the way that the internet and the building is. And so I'm not talking about every day you need to have it in the house, but there are certain things that you're going to have to be able to do. The sad part about this, and I know we're about to end up, is everybody has a phone, right? And we call it a smartphone. But all we want to do is look at social media. And I always ask the kids when I go out and speak, if it's a smartphone, what made you smarter today using that than it was yesterday? Did you learn a new language? Did you learn some new words? Did you do all of that? Or did you just watch
it's smart nonsense, so that we can be stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pretend that I want to donate to your cause because you're running for county commissioner. How would I get a hold of you, or how would I volunteer? How would I send you money? Because if you don't have money out there, just so you know, if you can't give your candidate money, then you can always give your time. Everybody has 2 hours or 3 hours, so please donate your time. But how do we get up with you, Glenn Adams?
I'm on Instagram. I don't, because I can just post pictures because I don't do Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but you can call me Glenn Adams 1977. Oh, you should watch that Instagram. Everybody likes that Instagram.
I'm not on Instagram.
Well, I'm not. I'm old school, and that's why I think sometimes you got to have some of these younger folk.
What is that? MySpace.
Oh, good Lord!
I'm just joking.
So I just put your IG up there. Yeah, so do you have a website?
No.
Okay.
I told you I'm old school.
Hit them up on the IG.
You can call me at my law office. And, everybody in Fayetteville has my cell phone number, 910-978-2294.
Well, I got it now.
And you can just call me. You can have
it. wasn't saved, but
everybody has it. So
what do you want to continue, and why do we want to vote for you, Glenn? Like, I mean, and sum it up. Like, what are you working on, and what do you want to see continue?
Well, here's what I think. Facilities are great, and you can have facilities, but I'm into what makes it better for our citizens right here in Cumberland County.
Okay.
And so if you go back and look, about a year ago, we got 25 national awards for programs that were started. So, you talk about men who don't go to the doctor, and colon cancer is one of the most preventable cancers in the world, prostate cancer. So I started a program called Healthy Conversations. and said, look, we can't wait for people to come to us. We got to go to them. So we went to barbershops, and we trained barbers to be able to talk to the men that sit in their chair about prostate cancer, colon cancer, because if you started with a barber when you were 10 years old, you probably got that same barber if you're still in town. Maybe the same beautician. And we're moving the best
in town.
Right. And so we're going to take it into that, to breast cancer awareness and all of those things, so that
my hairdresser doesn't like breasts, just so you know.
All right. Anyway, they can still talk about all of these. No, there are things that we can't sit in buildings and wait for people to come to us. We've got to take it to the community, and not just to certain parts of the community. We're talking about Wade. We're talking about Spring Lake. We're talking about Beaver Dam. You know, it takes, I live on the north side of town. I can get to Raleigh faster probably than I can get to Beaver Dam. But Beaver Dam is in Cumberland County. We need to take care of them.
Right.
And so we've got those kind of programs. We've got the one for the dementia and Alzheimer's that we started. We got a major maternal health crisis in this community. We do not have enough OBGYNs. We've got we're a young population county. We've got young mothers who are pregnant who can't see a doctor the second trimester.
Right.
That's just crazy. They don't even know what's happening in their body. So what I propose? Doulas. At least we can have some conversations with these individuals before they get to their doctor. Is you can't sit over here and let your significant other smoke and all of that.
I think we could have a whole show about the doulas and the access to healthcare.
But you know, and I think if you look, one, we need to get out of being a tier 1 county. 2, Cumberland County is probably one of the most unhealthiest counties in the state of North Carolina. And the state of North Carolina is probably one of the most unhealthiest in the country, besides some of those in the Southeast. We've got to be able to deal with how we're going to do this. And so that's the people part.
Sure.
Cumberland County they did a survey from Fayetteville Tech. We've got more people in Cumberland County than about any other county in the state, that has some level of college but didn't finish.
Right.
We need to get them and finish. And because of whether they had student loans or they had children or whatever, but we need to make people be able to do I heard the music, to live out their dreams. And that's what we want to do.
Very
good.
Good.
Well, with that, Commissioner Glenn Adams, we are going to have you back for sure.
Everybody's scared. He's like one that's not scared. So
he is not scared at all. No. So to everybody watching, we're going to take a small short break here, and then shortly we're going to welcome U.S. Senate candidate Dan Brown to the Don. God, oh man, Don, I'm sorry.
Dan isn't here today. Don is.
I bet during campaign he'll be called whatever he wants right now.
He just said, "Remember the Browns when you vote."
All right, just remember the Mr. Brown. Yes. So, Mr. Adams, it's a pleasure having you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.